Okay, today is the 11th of July of 2022, but I am going to do my list of best books I read in 2021. This is going to be in no particular order because I'm just going through my Goodreads list, and also I didn't read as many books as I wanted to read last year, so I don't have many books to like get from. But anyways, I'm gonna go over the books that called my attention, like going backwards. Or I read 29 books in 2021. I was hoping to read 60, so that's a huge number, like a different number. But anyways, so I might just read all the books I read and like a small comment on all of them, perhaps, because I'm really, just whatever. El olvido está lleno de memoria by Mario Benedetti is a book of poems. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Well, it's always nice to read Benedetti. He is very cute and all, but I guess that the work by him that is very political, I'm not very fond of. I don't. Yeah, it's just the romanticization of the political agency that the left somehow has. I don't like it. I really don't enjoy it. But because it was him and I had the book and I wanted to read like poems, I just had it and picked it up and read it. The next thing I read is actually Elfen Lied, and I read 7 of them. I got to number 7. I don't know which one is the last one. I stopped reading because I do not like reading in my computer or cell phone, and to be honest, I did buy the first couple of. I have one here, so I'm gonna show it. Yeah, this is number 1 actually. So I have this one, and I really like reading it like this, but the thing is that it has so many how do you call this, like books, and it's very expensive, and I don't want to buy all of them unless I find like a very good deal. And I started reading in my cell phone, and it's not the same thing. And I don't know, maybe someday I will finish collecting all of the books. I love the story. I really love this story. I wish I could finish this, and probably I will start from the beginning again. Well, it's a tragic, very classic manga, and you can see there, this is number 1, and it's tragic. It deals with a lot. It's very deep. I mean, yeah, and I wish I could finish this at some point. I did start watching the anime, but I didn't finish it. I don't know why I didn't finish it. I just rather prefer reading, and so interesting and beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, so that's the next. The other one I read was The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley. I think I made a video comment about that book, so I'm just going to leave it there. I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5. His experience with mescaline, and just good book. Of Love and Other Demons by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Well, with him, I feel like all his books, his novels are the same novel, and like iterations of the same concept. It's never something completely new. So it's like, different iterations. It's like having different objects of a class in a programming language. But I love it. It's very, very, very funny. Well, it's always about love and longing, and all of the things also that have to do with Latin American culture, superstitions, and just the general way we live, even though, yeah, you can find it's very funny also. My first 5-star, Unthinkable, An Extraordinary Journey Through the Worlds. I think this might be my favorite book I read in last year. An Extraordinary Journey Through the World's Strangest Brains, Unthinkable. Well, this is an amazing book. I gave it 5 out of 5. I liked it because it's a book on neurobiology, or actually neuroscience, and it's about these different very, very extreme cases of pathologies, and or people that think that they're dead, for example, is one. People that think that they can see auras and they would bet on it, and people that have I don't remember the name for that, when people that feel that they are animals and they would have this phase of when they feel that they're becoming an animal, and it's really amazing. I like the book because it's anecdotal as well as scientific, because the person went and meet all of these people and talk to them and try to put herself. Helen Thompson is the author. Put herself in the shoes of these people, but at the same time she would explain the condition, and it's amazing just the way your brain. The brain. I don't know. Sometimes I feel very fragile because I don't know what my brain is up to. It's yeah, very beautiful written also. Another 5-star, it's The Diary of Adam and Eve. This is by Mark Twain. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I love the retelling of old stories. One of my favorite genres. Actually, I just read 2 of these. The first one I read was Cain by Jose Saramago. Beautiful book. I read it the previous year, so it doesn't count here. But, amazing, lovely, 100% recommend. It's a recount of Adam and Eve. Mark Twain, of course. It's funny as fuck. It's a treatise about what being a female and what being male is actually at some point. So it's very, very good read. Next one, Blue Nights by Joan Didion. Another 5-star. I absolutely adored that book. I cried my heart out. She wrote this after his husband died. Her daughter also died at the same time, and it's amazing. It's so beautiful. I don't remember if I watched the documentary before I read the book. I don't remember, but I linked those two. There is a documentary of Joan Didion. It's very beautiful on Netflix. It made me want to be a writer. Whenever I see these people like Joan Didion, it's an example of she being so, I don't even know how to say it, but beautiful book. So it's some sort of autobiography, not autobiography, but a memoir about the time that she lost. It's about loss and how to cope with loss, but not only that, it's about her. Okay. Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson, another 5-star. I don't think I for 12 Rules for Life, I loved it, 5 stars, and this book also I gave a 5-star, and I think I love them equally. It's a good continuation of the first book. I'm in love with Jordan Peterson. He really, by reading him and by looking at or watching his lectures, or just seeing interviews, he really gave me tools to understand many things that are useful to understand in life. And 5 out of 5, whatever. I mean, what can I say? Cartas de Mamá by Julio Cortázar, 4 out of 5. This is a short story, or a long story, or a short novel. Well, it's Julio Cortázar quality. I did not give a 5 out of 5, probably because it was not one of his best works, in my opinion, but it's also because I've read so many of his stuff. But it's always a pleasure to read him. And I read The Painter and the Mother. This was just a very short book about different paintings, about a mother and a son, and an explanation of these paintings. I gave 4 out of 5. Then I read a very horrible book that's called Un Pequeño Favor. I have it in Spanish. I don't remember the name in English. By Darcy Bell. There is a film about this book. I didn't like it. It was very boring, and I didn't like it. That's it. I read also Panzram, Butchering Humanity. Karl Panzram was the autobiography of Karl Panzram, who was he was a person, a delinquent. Okay, it's very difficult to rate it because he just explains what he did and why he did it. So he was an American delinquent. I don't know how you say that. A killer, a serial killer, rapist, arsonist, robber, and burglar. And this is his autobiography where he confesses all the things he did. He claimed to have committed 21 murders, 1,000 sodomies of boys and men, and he was executed in 1930 for the murder of a prison employee. But it's just like a person gone wrong. So if you want to explore malevolence, I don't even know if that's the word. If you want to explore the lifestyle of a person that what does is just to create shit around him or around his life, how could, like, it's a very extreme case of that. And interesting. I gave him 3 out of 5. He was very smart. The way he wrote, you can tell. But I don't know why I gave 3 out of 5. It was good. It was not because of the topic. It was maybe because, well, what could I expect? It was so, I couldn't really see an analysis of this because it was his own point of view. And I guess that's the interesting thing about this, but yeah, interesting. Another book that I give 3 out of 5 is Predictably Irrational: The Hidden Forces That Shape Our Decisions. This was an interesting book, but I don't know. Basically, Dan Ariely, it's I think an economist or psychologist or something in between, behavioral economist maybe, and he just explained all of these experiments that he did to show how human beings are predictably irrational. So the way we behave, it's not necessarily irrational, but it is predictable. So interesting, but I just I don't have the tools to kind of, make a counter argument, but it doesn't convince me as well. Anyway, Death Be Not Proud by John Gunther. I cried so much reading this book. Well, John Gunther was an author back in the, I think, the 30s or something, but his son had brain cancer, and it is a memoir about that, about the agony of him, of accepting his death. And it's about death, and it's about accepting that horrible things happen to innocent people. And so it's just something that I feel, that is just something that I really care about. I mean, who doesn't? But not only I care about it, it's just that it interests me. I read The Old Man and the Sea, and I gave a 4 out of 5. Well, it's an Ernest Hemingway perfect book. It is a perfect book. I don't know. I mean, I gave 4 out of 5 just because it's personally, I loved A Farewell to Arms way more than this. So maybe that's something that happens a lot when you read an author. You tend to compare their work. It's impossible for them to be like a standalone. And the things that A Farewell to Arms made me feel were so much more deep than The Old Man and the Sea, but that doesn't mean that it didn't make me feel things, this book, right? I loved it. I loved the premise. I love his style also. And it's a very universal topic as well but I love, that very simplistic and the bottom line of the moral of the story, or the topic, which is how to, in order to live a good life, do not lose your dignity and work hard and don't care about anything else, about status or prestige or all of these crap that are external. Don't, just be like a respectful human being to yourself. And I love that. I reread apparently Watchmen. Yes, I reread Watchmen because I bought the book. The first time I read it was I read it in a library. So, well, this one has 5 out of 5. I love Watchmen with all my heart. So yeah, The Book of Sand of I love Borges. He is my favorite. I gave 5 out of 5. My favorites were The Other, Utopia, Of a Man That Is Tired, Avelino Redondo, and it says in no particular order. So I'm in love with his short stories. So Then I read also A la sombra de Einstein by Marie Benedict. It's a novel about a I don't remember her name actually, but the name of Mileva Marevic, I think, who was the first wife of Albert Einstein. So it kind of depicts this horrible side of Albert Einstein as well, as depicting her life and the misery she went through. And it's interesting. I gave it 3 out of 5. And then I read 2 books by a Paraguayan author. One is about the EPP, which is a paramilitary organized group that it's left-leaning and, revolutionaries and things that happened in Paraguay about this, what these people or that these people did and continue doing because they're still there. And it's very interesting, 4 out of 5. And then also Mengele in Paraguay, which it's just I wrote a comment and I put a reality supera, I don't know, fiction, and I wrote that affirmation it falls short to explain. And yeah, well, he apparently lived in Paraguay, Mengele, and things happened, and very interesting, extremely interesting. 4 out of 5. So those are all the books actually I read in 2020, I think. No, I have more. Well, let me just say which books. On Liberty by John Stuart Mill, 4 out of 5. Well, I'm a libertarian, so it was just a must. About Love by Jung, I loved this one, 5 out of 5. Science Magpie, fascinating fact stories, poems, diagrams about science. Well, 4 out of 5. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's the last one. But anyways, those are the books. And yeah,